Deciding who you want to bank with is a really important decision. You're going to be working with this company for years. You're going to be getting on their website almost on a daily basis, at least weekly, certainly monthly. And you want to make sure that you're working with somebody that you're comfortable with, that you can have good conversations, that have good customer service, and you feel comfortable working with them. Today in our video, we're going to get into who you should bank with. I'm Brandon Gustafson. I own and operate two assisted living facilities, and I created this channel to help people like you learn the ins and outs of investing in assisted living. Welcome to Assisted Living Investing. Welcome back to Assisted Living Investing. In our last video, we talked about how do I set up a business bank account? What's that process like? What do I need to do to set up a business bank account? And today, we're going to be getting into who you should bank with. What are some of the options that you have, and who you should consider banking with as you get your business bank account up and running, and some of the things you want to take into consideration as you're getting that process up and running. The first options that you want to look at is local banks versus national banks. Which one of those is better? I'll be just like completely blunt with you. I prefer local banking. It just feels a lot better. There's generally going to be a lot more perks. It's nicer to have a local bank. Nothing wrong with the national banks. There's a lot of advantages to working with them. But especially if you're in a spot where you live in the location, your facility is there, you already have an existing relationship with a local bank, going down that option is probably going to be the best one for you. You don't need to go with somebody big, like Chase or US Bank or something like that. You don't need to go with them. You can go with the local bank that you've always banked with. That's totally fine. They're going to have an option for you to do a business bank account. But I'm going to get into a little bit of the details, the differences, specifically like what local banks can offer you. So you have a good idea of what they can give you that a national bank just might not be able to offer. So local banks are generally going to be easier to work with. They're local to you, to your facility. Really, they're just a great option. Local banks are likely going to have less and smaller fees than a larger bank is going to have. Local banks, they often have better services and products that they're offering than big banks do. They just have better options. They're not as generic and one size fits all. They're going to be able to handle the needs that you have as a small business owner. Local banks are also there. They're going to help support your local community and your local economy, which is just extremely important. Doing what you can to support your local economy is really, it's great. I would highly encourage you to do that. Have no say in the matter. You get to decide exactly what you want to do, but supporting your local economy is just extremely important, especially in times like we live in today. So something that you want to be familiar with there. Big banks, however, do provide you some convenience. So they're going to have branches nationwide. So say you are on vacation, you live in California, you're on vacation in New York, you have something come up and you need to take care of it. You're banking with Chase. There's going to be a Chase branch in New York you could run into and get things taken care of there at the bank rather than working on the phone or trying to get through processes there. There is some convenience there to having a big national bank that just kind of works in all the states that you're located in. So it's something you want to consider. Is there going to be a situation where you need that big national bank, and should you go with them? So again, in my opinion, I would highly suggest local banking. Local banks have a ton of perks that you don't get with big banks, and they're going to benefit you in the long run as you work on developing relationships with that local bank. It could lead to better loans down the line. It could lead to, if you want to look at refinancing, it could look at, expanding your business portfolio and things like that. Developing a relationship with that local bank is really going to benefit you. So I highly suggest local banking, but you can look at what's going to be best for your situation as well. The next thing I wanted to get into is a bank versus a credit union. Which one of those? What's the difference between banks and credit unions? I'm not going to get into all of it in this video. I don't have enough time for it. But at its crux, a bank is a for-profit institution that's owned by investors. And they're seeking to make a profit for those investors. And credit unions are member owned and they are nonprofit institutions. So they are a little bit more member focused and giving back to the members. That's what's important to a credit union. Credit unions, they'll also often have like lower interest rates if you're looking at getting a loan, or you need some operating capital, or you're looking to refinance, or like I mentioned just a second ago, building your business portfolio or something like that. And you've established yourself as a business owner. Now you need to get access to more funds. Credit unions are going to typically have lower rates on those types of loans. So you might, and typically they're going to have better customer service than a bank because they are so member focused. They also generally have low or no fee accounts available. I talked about that in my last video, so I'll link that up here. But something else that you want to just kind of take into consideration there, that credit unions are going to generally have low or no fees, which is going to benefit you as a small business owner. Personally, we do our banking with a local credit union over a bank. We've found one that is just, I've mentioned them several times, that are just great to work with. They have a great online banking option. They have a great mobile app that allows us to do things. Several years ago, I think banks were probably more on the cutting edge of online and mobile banking, but credit unions are really starting to catch up now. And I don't think there's any issues with working with those types of credit unions. I really enjoy them. They have several branches in the states that we operate in, and they just have incredible customer service. I've talked to several customer service reps at our local credit union that we use, and they have just been incredible. The credit union, I'll give them a plug here, is Mountain America Credit Union. Highly recommend them if they're in a state that you work in. But if they're not, that's okay. There's going to be a credit union like that where you work, where you live. Find those people. If you already bank with them locally, then great. Continue that relationship and shift a business account over to them and start working with them. It's going to help you out a lot. Just do what's best for you and make sure that you're able to leverage some of those existing relationships that you have is just another thing that I would really highly recommend that you do. The other thing, and I mentioned this in our last video, is think about your needs. I'll link that up here, but I want to quickly give you an idea of what those were. Just really quick recap of those. Do you need mobile or online banking? Are you going to be doing mobile deposits? Transferring funds back and forth, fees, what types of fees are you going to be looking at? Do you need access to an ATM, savings and checking accounts and sub accounts and any extra perks and protections? So go ahead and watch that video. I went over that a little bit more in detail than I did here, but those are things that you want to consider as you're trying to look for your bank on top of a local versus national and a bank versus a credit union. What do you want to look for? Make sure it's something that meets your needs and make sure it's something that you're going to be happy with, because you're going to be working with this institution for years. So you want to make sure that it's a good relationship. Next video, we're going to be getting into the secret about direct deposits for Medicaid payments. How does that work with a bank? What's that process like? So I'm going to get into it and kind of give you an idea. We've talked about the secrets of how Medicaid works. I'll link that video up here. But we're going to get into now the secret of direct deposits for Medicaid payments and what that's like. To learn more about investing in assisted living, make sure you visit me on assistedlivinginvesting.net. I've got other content up there. Have some free resources. You can set up a consulting call with me. We can have a conversation about your specific situation. I can help you out through that process. And then also please follow me on my other social media platforms. Would love to have conversations with you over there. And remember, it doesn't take a lot, just a little bit. Just keep making progress step by step by step. If you keep making that progress, you will be successful. I promise. Thanks for watching.